any nerds get too angry. I'm totally kidding, by the way. I am teasing you SC2 nerds. I'm trying to rile you up. Get out the anger. Start making the Reddit threads. Call the sponsors. Would somebody like to sponsor me so that people can call you? Does anybody have a particular penchant for getting calls from angry nerds? If so, you are very welcome to be my sponsor. Hey, it looks like Marine's poking out a little bit. Oh, nice little Stalker micro here. Of course, Stalkers do outrange the Marines. So, get one more. Oh, very nice. 2 free Marines there, taking a little bit of HP damage on that one Stalker. But nothing too serious. We do have 4 racks here, though. No gases just yet for what's-his-face? Rocky. No, not Rocky. July Terran. Hansen. I'm so confused now because the overlay names aren't actually their IDs. But yeah, Hansen's going to be putting on some serious pressure here in the mid-game. He's going to basically just walk out with like a trillion Marines. He might even pull a few SEVs to buffer. And it's going to come down to the micro, really, and the force fields for Sang. Man, I'm actually just confusing myself so much. Maybe I should turn it back. No, I'll man up. Like part of my commentator training. Commentate with the wrong IDs on your overlay. Anyway, looks like I'm gonna have to wait for that sentry to pop out of that gateway before he can make it a warp gate. But here is the first Marine attack. Although it looks like he didn't actually bring that many. He's now rallying them from 4 barracks, but looks like about 7-8 Marines here in this first attack. Gonna get picked off though, and looks like a couple more Zealots being morphed in. There is the Guardian Shield. 3 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, and 2 Sentries should be plenty to hold off this force. Oh, it looks like the Zealots getting a little bit ahead of themselves, not standing in the Guardian Shield. But yeah, looks like Hansen just giving up those couple of Marines there. Not a really big deal. Marine's pretty cheap, pretty fast to make, and looks like he has transitioned out, making a 3rd command center. Got both his gases at his main. Looks like he's got both gases at his natural as well. Just trying to see from the minimap, getting a 2nd bunker. And gas is being added as well for the Protoss, who's got a Twilight Council and a Forge now. So it looks like the Robo was just for obs. We'll now be going for some good old charge lots, and eventually High Templar. And we'll probably get the +1 armor on that Forge to minimize the Mariner damage. Hey, the Alps is checking things out now. He's gonna say, oh, okay, he's got 4 barracks. Oh, he's got a 3rd command center. I think that 3rd command center is probably the most important thing to see there. And it also sees the lack of a factory, so not going to be overly concerned about any medevac drops or anything like that for a little while. And I think that's quite nice. So that basically allows him to do this kind of pressure now. He's like, okay, you know, Hansen went for the early barracks, delayed his tech, delayed his gases, and he's also went for the 3rd command center first before even getting a factory. So, you know, there's no medevac drops incoming. I don't need to leave any units at home to defend that kind of thing. So he can kind of poke the front. But, you know, there's 3 bunkers at the front at the top of that wide ramp. I don't think he really can do too much here. So he's just going to go home, it looks like. I'm going to leave the observer at the front. Nice little SCV placed in front or at the bottom of the ramp there for Hansen as well, just to spot any huge attack coming in. And this is going up to 7 warp gates in total for Sang, who's also started Psionic Storm. I think he had a 2nd Forge there as well, though I wasn't paying attention. And do those good old double upgrades. No, actually, no, that was just the Templar Archive. Sorry, never mind. Still just 1 Forge, which is fine. He's only on 2 bases, so it doesn't have, you know, an insane amount of gas to spend. First High Templars are out. I wonder if he should move those a little bit, just kind of keep them hidden. Because, I mean, like, his Templar Archives is at the back of his main, right? So, you know, a scan over, like, where the gateways are wouldn't actually see that tech. It would only see the gateway count on the Robo, which would probably indicate that it is, you know, a gateway-focused army. But still, maybe better to keep the Terrans slightly in the dark. It's not a big deal. Anyway, Hansen breaking down his back rocks here, taking his 3rd. You know what? I'm actually going to change this to my overlay. I'm so confused now. Alright, Sang. I've caved in. I couldn't handle it. I could not handle it. Cause I kept forgetting like which race was which, so I was like, wait, is Terran Rocky? Is Protoss Rocky? I don't know who's who. I mean, I usually get players mixed up anyway, even though I know their IDs. It's like even worse. Interestingly, Sang got +1 attack instead of +2 armor. I would have thought it's a bit more efficient to keep going on the armor upgrades. Just, you know, when they stack, you get like better cost efficiency, but obviously it does also cost more gas to get that upgrade. So he's just gone for +1 attack instead. And it looks like one pylon at the 9 o'clock there between the bases getting taken down. Gonna stop any warpins there. Also gonna stop him from spotting any medevacs going in. Ooh, I like this High Templar left here. I'm pretty sure that's just to feedback any medevacs that fly by. That's actually a very, very nice move. Does already have enough energy for 2 feedbacks there. Gonna have a 3rd one pretty soon. The multiply army just kind of running around, clearing out Zealots, probably just looking for random pylons hidden here and there. And yep, they're gonna find another one here at the I don't know what base to call that. The top right 3rd-ish base. I guess like 12:30, 1 o'clock base. Weird clock position base. I don't know. Meanwhile, looks like Sang is adding on a billion more gateways here. They are all in his main though, and it looks like they're all being powered by like 4 pylons. So like 2 medevacs with some marauders in there could actually just take out his entire infrastructure, which is not ideal. I do like it when, you know, Protoss players spread out their gateways just a little bit, just kind of as insurance. But lag good. I feel like when the stream lags, I should like stutter as I talk. Just like also lag in real life. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit too high level for me, it seems. Anyway, Observer is seeing this Bioforce is chilling out here. I'm a little bit surprised he's not like tagging the army with his Observer just to follow it. But anyway, looks like I believe it's +1 air weapons on the way for Hansen, just for his Vikings. So when the Colossi come out, inevitably he will have some nice attack upgrades, be able to take those down even faster. Because of course he knows that the Protoss will eventually be going for that insanely good composition with both Colossi and High Templars and all the other supporting units. Looks like a couple of Ghosts are out as well for some nice EMPs, and both players basically just not attacking at all, not even any light harassment from the Terran. And this is quite interesting because, you know, usually the onus is kind of on the Terran to at least put on a bit of pressure in the early and mid game, you know, do some medevac drops here and there, or, you know, run around with their super mobile bio army, because the super late game Protoss army is generally considered to be stronger than the Terran. You know, once you get up that really nice, you know, Colossus, Templar, Archons, charge slot force, it's just so hard to deal with in a cost-efficient manner for Terran. Even, you know, if you get a bunch of Ghosts and get good EMPs off, like, still like got the Colossi in the back to deal with, and it's just pretty yucky overall. So I'm a little bit nervous for Hansen right now. I don't think you can really afford to play this kind of passive game. Meanwhile, ooh, nice feedbacks on some High Templar there. The Observer saw where the army was, so he just let out with 1 High Templar, but it looks like some scans being placed to prevent that from happening again. And we might have an engagement here, but there's a lot of High Templar, and oh my goodness, he's going to get stormed to pieces on the ramp. Hansen, you cannot go up that ramp. The stream can't even handle the massacre that's about to happen here. Okay, and it looks like he does back off. He does have a good number of medevacs. So we'll be able to heal up his forces here, but Hansen's actually persisting in this attack. He's also simultaneously dropping in the main, but it looks like his multitask is not quite up to it. Not up to the challenge here. He's not actually using his forces in the main. I think it's a bit of a waste, but he is now moving into the 3rd base though, and it looks like Sang is a little bit confused about where he should go, but no, he's not confused anymore. He just hit that T button and he realized what he was supposed to do. But the drop in the main does take out the Robo, so that is going to stop Colossus production just for a little bit here. Meanwhile, double command centers in the 3rd base there, probably going to float those out to the 6 o'clock and to that right side 3rd there. It's floating one of them out. And I'm a little bit, this is actually quite interesting. It looks like Hansen's multitasking is just not very good here. Because those command centers I think were done by the time that attack was happening. So he could have definitely had those already mining by now. And yet instead he's just like only just now floating out. So yeah, definitely a little bit lacking there. But that's alright, that's alright. It's not easy to, you know, to do a million things at once. I definitely couldn't multitask that well anyway, so, you know, who am I to talk? Now, the Protoss army is moving out a little bit. Both players are essentially maxed. I think he needs to be a little bit careful here. I mean, you know, his High Templar is obviously being slower than the rest of his units, are kind of trailing behind. So if a small group of Bio just like runs up, they can actually just pick off a couple of these crucial High Templars. And see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just stimming like 4 Marines and a Marauder, or 3 Marines and a Marauder, and just running out here. And oh, looks like Colossus also going to try and get picked off. A nice storm there to ward away the Vikings. There's only 1 Colossus in this army. This concerns me greatly. And not that many High Templar either. There's like 3 High Templar just left in the middle of the map. I don't know what they're doing there. Sang kind of lacking in his army control as well. Both players making some mistakes here. Meanwhile, the 4th base though is up for Hansen, but it's up as well for Sang though. He's got that bottom right 3rd there. Does have a nice sensor tower position though, and looks like we have photon cannons being placed in the middle of the map. This is very interesting stuff. Not only will that support the Protoss army if there's an engagement there, but it'll also prevent like cloaked ghosts from just running up and EMPing the army or just sniping High Templars, which can be extremely annoying for the Protoss to deal with. Even if they do have you know, have an observer with the army, you know, the ghosts can kind of skirt around the edges of the vision there and just pick things off and EMP things. So quite cute to have those cannons there, but it looks like they are just going to get picked off anyway. And ooh, another snipe on the High Templar, but no, looks like Storm doesn't quite miss here. Nice army control, I gotta say, from Haunted, but oh, mass feedbacks on the ghosts rather, and it looks like now we're gonna have an engagement. The Templars were not all EMP. It looks like a missed load there. One of the medevacs getting loaded with bio forces, but the rest of the bio force is going to come in here, clean up the units, but not going to press the issue. Looks like their 3-3 are almost finished, so I just wanted to wait for that. Or is that 2-2? No, I think it's 3-3. Anyway, looks like, oh, Random Factory is blocking the 6 o'clock. It's going to get cleared out now. And building another command center. I thought he already had another command center at his 3rd base. Did he just not actually float that anywhere? Looks like he's also not paying attention to his medevacs. He's left that one loaded up. He should actually just unload those guys right now. He's not actually going for a drop or anything. Meanwhile, oh, is that actually the Planetary Fortress range upgrade? I think that is. That's quite cool. Anyway, oh, we are going to have a big engagement here, and the Vikings look like are going to lead the way, but the Colossus are a little bit further back, doing some stutter step micro here. Very nice stutter step micro, but still has not unloaded that medevac. That's actually really bugging me right now. But it looks like the Protoss force is going to crush through anyway, though. Not enough bio here. And, oh, looks like, wait, did that full medevac get killed, or did it unload? I'm not actually sure. Either way, the Terran army is going to get pressed back. He's down to about 150-ish supply against the 177 of the Protoss. A huge warp in here at the top right. It's actually going to get spotted by a command center. The good old scouting command center trick. Meanwhile, queuing up those Colossi, that's not exactly ideal. 3 Colossi queued in that 1 robo. And, oh, tries to pick off that High Templar, but gets stormed to pieces here. And this could actually be it. A mass repair on the Planetary Fortress, though. Is he going to maybe storm the SCVs, maybe force field them away? I think he should just force field them away from the Planetary Fortress, but it doesn't even matter. A huge storm, but it hits the Zealots mostly. He just stormed himself there. That got like all the Zealots and none of the bio basically, and it looks like the mass repair on the Planetary Fortress is going to be enough to keep the Protoss at bay for now, or is it? No, it looks like he's going in once again here, but that Planetary is doing so much damage. A big EMP on all the forces. It looks like almost all the Colossi have gone down, the High Templars have all gone down, and that was a very costly attack for Sang there. He's still ahead in the supply. He did kill a good number of forces, killed a number of SCVs, but there's the mass mule drop on those minerals. Gonna do the good old income explosion there. And 4 Colossi queued on 1 robo. Come on, man. And you call yourself a pro gamer? Oh, dude, that's just disgusting. 4 Colossi queued on 1 robo. Sang, I mean, you know, I don't like BMing pro gamers because they are pro gamers, but dude, really? Alright, you know, whatever. He does have a nice gateway count though. He's got like, I don't know, 20-something gateways, I think. 30-something warp gates. Anyway, it looks like a good Viking count though. Ooh, gonna pick off one of these Colossi. Gotta be a little bit careful when he's walking around those like empty spaces on the map. I don't know what to call those, like impassable terrain bits things. Anyway, a couple of Zealots, looks like they were denying the space, but that is finally gonna get down. And it looks like we're seeing a pretty nice long PVT here. Kind of like what we saw yesterday actually, on this map in fact. I don't know, is it something about Entomb that's giving us good PVTs, or maybe actually the Brewer Pros just started to actually learn how to play long games here. Terrans don't need to just 1-1-1 or die. Anyway, sorry, glanced over the stream chat and completely lost my train of thought. But I do see something at the bottom right, natural there. Looks like Sang's probably thinking about taking another base. I mean, it's basically becoming a split map situation here, top versus bottom. It's going to be a little bit tricky to take those middle side expos. They're pretty vulnerable, and of course they're blocked off by the rocks. But hold that thought, we are going to have another big engagement here, but huge EMPs on the army, and it looks like actually not enough buffering units. The Marauders closing with the Colossi. Oh my god, a horrible engagement for Sang. The High Templar come in, but they are way too late. What are they doing? They need to storm. Oh my god, 4 High Templar with Storm came in, but they were just, after the army was already dead. It looks like they will be enough to keep the Terran army back, warping in a huge round of High Templars and Zealots. But he just threw away like 4 Colossi there for almost nothing. Man, Sang. I mean, I think he's still winning here, but he's doing his hardest to lose the game. Looks like another warp in here at the space, but there is a planetary there. Those Zealots going to do almost nothing. That Stalker warp in is going to be a lot more useful if he moves them back a little bit. Got to make sure they're out of range of the planetary. Just keep them in range of the SCVs. No, it looks like he's going to let the planetary kill them. I mean, Hansen, look at this. Hansen stims 2 Marauders back to deal with them, and he's like, wait, they actually died? Alright. Looks like air weapons is done, so he's going to start getting some air armor as well. Getting another starport. He's got a bunch of orbitals at his third, it looks like. Just going to be using those for the mass mule drop, so he doesn't need to make as many SCVs. Save his supply for his army and just mine minerals with mules purely. Pretty good strategy for the late game. I don't know if I should necessarily say strategy. It's not like a strategy as such. It's just like, I don't know. It's not a tactic. It's like a What is it actually? I don't know. It's like something like a technical trick thing. Anyway, technique. That's a good word. Thank you. Technique. There was a fusion core that we saw, by the way. So it looks like he's going for mass battle cruisers, or I don't know if it's mass battle cruisers, but he's gonna start adding on some battle cruisers to support his army. And well, I mean, the last time I saw battlecruisers in this matchup was in that GSL finals between MVP and Squirtle, and we all know how that turned out, which was not great for the battlecruiser guy. Having said that, there is a distinct lack of motherships in this game as well, so perhaps it'll work out a little bit better for Hansen. And I believe also MVP said in an interview or something that in practice, like, he never loses if he can get battlecruisers in late game TVP or something like that. Like, they're just apparently really strong, which is a bit curious to me, considering you can just like feedback them, and you know, Void Rays maybe would be pretty good. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. That's a lot of Vikings though, by the way, but it looks like a big storm on all of them, and the Protoss is going in. Once again, he's still engaging next to this planetary fortress. I wonder how many kills this planetary has, actually. This planetary, even if it doesn't have many kills, it must have done so much damage to the Protoss forces, and now the Bio Force is actually chasing the Protoss army here. No Colossi, no Storms left, a bunch of Stalkers and Archons, but no, he is retreating to this reinforcement pylon here. A bunch of Archons and Stalkers being warped in here, but he can't just keep making Archons. He needs to leave a few of those guys as High Templars for those Storms. He needs that splash damage. Looks like Observer showing us that, oh, there is a drop here at this bottom right expansion. There's no main base there, though, but they can actually range those probes from the high ground, which is going to be extremely annoying for Sang to deal with. I'm pretty sure Sang is mined out at his initial 3 bases, so he's just mining on the 6 o'clock and the bottom right 2 bases there now. But Hansen probably needs an expansion of his own. He's got 1 million orbitals, but he doesn't actually have that many bases. He needs to take some of the top right bases. The good thing about having all those orbitals, though, is that he can also just like lift them off and float them over. He doesn't actually need to make any more command centers. But the battle cruisers are out. I don't know if Sang has spotted this. If he has, he hasn't really changed his army composition very much. Meanwhile, it looks like he's warping in a few units to deal with this drop. But now the battle cruisers are coming out. Now he knows that the battle cruisers are out. And what is he going to do to deal with this? I mean, he does have a good number of Archons. He has a good number of High Templar for feedback. And there's going to be some big storms as well. I haven't seen... Did he actually feedback the battle cruiser? I didn't notice, but the Archons and Stalkers is cleaning up those 2 BCs. But the BC's tanking a lot of damage for the rest of the army. But it looks like Hansen wasn't paying attention to his Vikings. The Vikings all landed but get completely stormed out here. But the Vikings added some nice DPS and HP, but no, he actually loses all his Vikings. I don't know if that was really worth it to have landed all of those Vikings. He had like 15 Vikings or something, and he just lost them all for actually not doing that much there. I don't think that was actually the best place to decide to just land those and do a big engagement there. And look at this, we can see double Stargate actually in response to those battle cruisers for the Protoss player. What is he gonna do? Well, I guess it's not just gonna be Mothership, because if he only wanted the Mothership, he would only make one, obviously, just for the fleet beacon. But he's making two, so he's probably gonna add on some Void Rays here, I would imagine. Carriers not particularly good against battle cruisers because of the high armor value of the battle cruisers. You know, because the carriers do damage to the interceptors, which are kind of like high fire rate. Not really high fire rate, but you have 8 of them firing at the same time, but they all do relatively low damage. And so the armor value is applied for each interceptor, which means that they're not really going to have a great DPS against the BCs. I think they do have better range, but that doesn't really matter as much in big engagements. Anyway, looks like, ooh, some feedback's going off on the battle cruisers. It looks like they didn't have that much energy anyway, so they just take a bit of damage. Also going to stop them from using Yamatos anytime soon. And we do see a Void Ray in production here for the Protoss player, for Sang, and it looks like Hansen actually also going to lose the command center here. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he made a command center there instead of just lifting off one of his orbitals at his third. He's got like 6 orbitals there or something. He can just lift one and float it over. I don't know why he doesn't do that. I don't know, does he like really want those mules? Like, can't afford to float it over or something? I'm not really sure what's going on there. Anyway, 3 Zealots chilling in the main. Probably warped in there to stop the drop, and then he forgot about them or something. Should probably bring those over. They are taking up 6 supply of his. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, every little bit counts in these big engagements. And that Protoss army is actually looking surprisingly small right now. Meanwhile, the Observer also indicating that, you know, there's no air upgrades yet for the Protoss air, whereas the Terran air is already at 3.1 or 3.2. I'm not really sure. Either way, much better upgraded than those Void Rays are going to be. So even though Void Rays, you know, are kind of good against BCs, you'd think, without the upgrades, they won't be quite as effective. Meanwhile, it looks like the Terran army is starting to push the Protoss back. The Void Rays coming in, but they might actually get sniped out here because he's not paying attention. Oh my God, was not paying attention, losing one Void Ray immediately. The other one might get picked off by these Vikings, and the main Protoss army is back into a corner here. Sang looks like he might be in a bit of trouble. Now he's attacking downhill, but he's attacking through a bit of a choke, but it looks like it might be enough. So many speed lots here. There's 4 battle cruisers overhead, though, doing some nice stutter step micro. Isn't going to be enough. He's targeting down all the anti-air with the battle cruisers. There's no anti-air left for the Protoss player. He's warping in another stalker here. It looks like Sang's going to kill the Bioforce, but those battle cruisers, there's nothing to stop them. There's like 1 Void Ray, 2 Void Rays here. The stream can't even handle what's going on right now. So I'm just going to commentate a still picture because that's awesome. But it looks like Sang is going to retreat. He's aware that, you know, with the massive gateway count of... Or, sorry, Hansen's going to retreat because with Sang's massive gateway count, there is a risk that he'll just, like, warp in, you know, 20 stalkers, and Hansen doesn't want to sacrifice those battle cruisers. But little does he know that, you know, Sang, even though he does have that big gateway count, is almost broke. He's down to, like, well, now he's down to, like, no money. He's down to, you know, 50 minerals. But the problem is that Hansen is actually mined out. Hansen has 0 mineral income. Is that what that means? Is that what that was? Hansen apparently has 0 mineral income. I'm looking at the top right, and actually it does look like he's got no mineral income here. So he's actually just now sending another command center to the top right main there. I guess that's what happens when you have too many mules. You just mine out instantly, and it's just like, oh shit, now what do I do? Guys, it turns out that mules actually have a downside. Who would have thought? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Anyway, he has now gotten that command center at the top right. He's just like landing a bunch of mules there. He's gonna mine that out in like 30 seconds again. Oh man, way too many. See, why can't he lift one of these and go take that top right natural as well? I don't really understand. He can easily just lift one of those, right, and go land. Like, is there some good reason to not do that? I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Maybe he just like doesn't think he can defend it. But you know, he's got like, even if he loses one, he's got like another 4. Seems fine. Anyway, it looks like War Prism going in here crosses paths with a drop. So it looks like both players, having done like a bunch of big engagements against each other, have decided, well, you know what? Let's calm down a little bit. Let's just do some light harassment here. You know, chill out for a second. But oh man, War Prism getting obliterated. And these Zealots aren't really going to do much. Meanwhile, what happened to that medevac? Oh, there it is. Those Void Rays can actually go over and kill that. I just realized that's actually quite useful to have like a couple of air units in the Protoss army to deal with these drops. Because otherwise they just like sit over empty space and you just can't get them. Oh man, that's like one of the most frustrating things, to have this you know, really sick Protoss army, like late game Protoss army, and then like one medevac just like sits with it like over like, you know, over an open air place like that, and you just can't get it. You just cannot attack it because you have no air units. And you're just like, oh, I just want to kill it so bad. It's so funny because, like, if you think about it, on Brood War maps, for example, there's almost no areas like this where you can just leave air units and they can't be shot by ground units. Well, obviously it depends on the map, but there's very few maps where there's like a lot of open spaces like this, so it doesn't really happen as much. But anyway, it looks like a bit of High Templar on Bio dueling going on here in the middle. Of course, Hansen trying to, you know, pick up High Templar with as few units as possible. And looks like, interestingly, Hansen has also taken that middle expansion at the 9 o'clock there. I don't know if what's his face, Sang, is even aware of it, because, you know, the Terran doesn't even need to break down these destructible rocks to take that base. He can just float a command center over there and just land a bunch of mules. And indeed, he hasn't even taken either gas there, so I feel like that's exactly what's happened here, is that he hasn't bothered to break down the rocks, just floated the CC there. But looks like we are going to have another big engagement here. Where are the High Templar? Where is the AoE? Where's the splash? There's only one Colossus doing splash damage right now. Nice EMPs on the High Templar. Oh my goodness. One storm went off. I think one feedback went off. But once again, those battle cruisers staying alive. Looks like most of the Bioforce, well, not most of it, but some of the Bioforce also staying alive here. Hansen is playing incredibly well in the late game against this, you know, Protoss death army of Colossus and High Templar. All the Terran QQers take notes. This is how you engage. Well, I mean, I guess this might not necessarily be the highest level of Protoss play, but still pretty nice stuff from Hansen here to be staying in the game. Looks like he's doing some mass repair on his battle cruiser as well. And uh-oh, looks like this base has been spotted, or at least the Protoss suspects that it is there. He's going to start breaking down those rocks to make sure, and oh man, he's going to get the EMP. He does get the EMPs off. Oh my god, so many EMPs. No storms for you, although it looks like, I think that one High Templar on the right, yeah, that one High Templar does have energy. But he's going to get pushed back here, so Hansen is going to defend this 9 o'clock base. Man, what a crazy game this is. This is possibly the longest StarCraft 2 game we've actually had this season of Pro League. I don't know how long this has been going on, but we might actually mine out the map here, because now the Protoss has the right side middle expo, the Terran has the left side one. And I think this might just come down to like who can be more cost efficient with the remaining resources on the map, because both players, they have like the exact same resource count. It's like exactly a split map situation. And as far as I'm aware, like, Protoss should be a little bit more cost efficient, especially in this late game with the Colossi and the High Templar, right? So, pretty sure that's good for Protoss, but, you know, Sang's control hasn't exactly been inspiring this game, so I guess we'll see. Meanwhile, that one Warp Prism's still chilling there, but there's a planetary, so it's not going to do too much. Looks like a couple Stalkers going to get warped in here, just going to start ranging these SCVs, be super annoying. Although, he just ran into range of the Planetary Fortress, so that doesn't seem ideal. And, oh, we have a mothership on the way! We have a mothership. I wonder if Sang even watched that GSL Finals with MVP. I don't even know if he has. I don't know if, like, I mean, I'm sure the Brood War players watched some, like, replays and VODs and stuff when they were, you know, when they started practicing, just to see, like, how this game actually works, but, you know, does Sang actually know how that game went between Squirtle and MVP? I'm not sure. Anyway, it looks like a bunch of command centers being made at the top right again. I think those are command centers, right? Another one being made at the 9 o'clock here, but little does he know, or actually he does know now, that that's already been taken by the Protoss. Now the Protoss army, though, is a little bit out of position. He might just lose this expansion before he can defend it. Sang will. I think he's just going to have to lose. Yeah, he's just going to sack it. He's going to send his probes over. Meanwhile, the Protoss army is heading up the left side. He's not attacking the 9 o'clock expo, though. It looks like he's going straight for the natural here. Might just be going straight for the Terran production, and that could be a good idea. The problem with that is that the army, if it does go into the Terran main, will be stuck there. He will be forced into an engagement, whether he likes it or not. And oh no, it looks like another EMP, another couple of EMPs going off on the Protoss army. Any storms left? It looks like the Blink Stalker is going to try and buy some time for the rest of the army to escape. But oh my god, Hansen is just chasing away this, you know, this maxed out Protoss army. I don't think I've ever seen a Protoss army look so weak and flimsy in late game PvT. In like anywhere. Is this just because like Sang is not very good or something? I'm not trying to be mean to Sang, but like there's a reason that Terrans are saying that late game PvT is imbalanced. Anyway, oh, nice feedbacks on the leading battle cruisers, but the battle cruisers are so beefy anyway, and Sang might actually lose his last few expansions here at the bottom right. Sang, he cannot lose these expansions. He's mined out everywhere else. He lost his 9 o'clock. These are his last mining bases. Sang, what are you doing? Oh my god, Sang, how could you let this happen? By the way, this is a must-win situation for Sang. In case you forgot, if Sang loses this, then Team 8 will lose the series. Oh man, I really hope we don't have a lag into GG here. Please don't lag into GG. Please! Please, the mothership is out! We must see the vortex! Is there going to be a vortex? There has to be a vortex. There's like nothing else he can do. He's going to lose these bases. Oh man, what is he going to do now? He's got no mining, right? He's got no income. Maybe he has a few resources left at like that third base there. At the bottom right third. I don't think he does though. It looks like he's just gonna go for a big counterattack here with the mothership. I guess if he can take out all of Hansen's mining as well, because actually, yeah, this is actually the last of. Well, no, this is not the last mining base of Hansen, because Hansen actually has the 9 o'clock semi-island expo there. So Hansen can keep dropping mules there and keep mining. And he's also got a much bigger bank. He's got almost 2,000 minerals banked, whereas Sang only has like 500. But if Sang can get a big engagement off, like if he can get a big vortex, get some good storms off, and like crush the Terran army, he can actually go and kill off the last mining bases of Hansen as well, and kind of win the game. But I think it's going to be really tricky here. It might actually just come down to this one big engagement. Neither player has much income. Neither player has that many resources. Hansen the slightly bigger bank. And it looks like Yamato's going down on the rocks. It looks like he just wants to get rid of the energy on his battle cruisers just so he doesn't get feedback. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Meanwhile, though, another planetary getting taken down here. But no, the rest of the army getting caught, though. Sang splitting up his forces, losing a few of his units for free there. He's actually, is he down to like 120 supply? Is that what I'm seeing on the top right? It's a little bit hard to see, but for some reason his supply looks really low to me. But here we go. This might be the big engagement. Where is the vortex? There's the vortex getting all of the air units. Only the bio forces left there. All of the battle cruisers and Vikings have been sucked into the vortex, but the bio just needs to retreat a little bit. There is still a planetary. It looks like the Archon's going in, get an Archon toilet. Only 2 Archons, though, not going to be the best DPS, and he has barely any Stalkers, and oh my god, that's not going to work. That Archon toilet did not work at all. The Terran units came out, and they just killed those Archons easy peasy. The rest of the army is moving in to help support the battle cruisers. There's only Zealots left here, no anti-air. Even if the bio forces can actually get picked up, he should actually load up all the bio into the medevacs, and the Zealots can't even attack them. Oh man. It is not a good day to be a Zealot in Sang's army. Actually, you know what? I don't think it's ever a good day to be a Zealot in Sang's army. But GG from Sang, and Hansen takes it down. An epic PvT there. Wow. That was a pretty sick game. That's got to be the longest game we've seen. The longest StarCraft 2 game we've seen this season, right? It's got to be. Somebody take some stats. I know there's a lot of nerds out there who like stats. Go write down all the lengths of StarCraft 2 games and tell me that was the longest. Hansen, like a boss. I'm gonna lag, but that's fine, because the game's over. So, Stars is actually gonna take the series. 2-1 in the Brood War series, 2-0 in the StarCraft 2 series. But don't worry guys, there is going to be another series coming up after this. We are going to watch Air Force Ace versus CJ Entis. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Probably have a bit of a commercial break here first though. And I will go get a drink.